our topic in general this week was maintaining progress.
Okay.
So I wanted to get you to weigh in terms of research and how important it is, because a lot of us have less services. It's the summer for a lot of us, and that can mean a reduction in hours. So what do we need to do to maintain progress? What do we know from research?
Great question. Well, the simplest way to think about it is everything we're doing in ABA intervention for kids with autism is trying to teach new skills that will maintain and will help the child actually access reinforcement in their daily lives. That's sort of the overall goal of ABA, right? So in doing so, a good analogy is you or I learning a foreign language. So let's say you or I start studying, I don't know, Italian or something, right? And we make some progress. What would be the best way for us to lose those skills?
To stop doing it.
Just not practice it, right? Exactly.
Right.
So if you don't have anyone to speak Italian to, you're going to lose that eventually, right?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not. Maybe if it's your very first language, you're not going to lose it, you know. But if it's a second language and it's something that's still sort of in the acquisition process, you're going to lose it if you don't use it. So everything we teach these kids is the same. So our kids, have particularly difficult time learning, and so we need to make sure that they get just as much practice for maintenance as you or I would need if we were learning a foreign language.
Okay, awesome.
So, and what's the best way to maintain a foreign language?
To go to the country and be forced to do it constantly.
Right. So there is a real clear demonstration. If you want someone to be good at something and to maintain those skills and generalize those skills, they need constant practice throughout their daily lives. So. What that translates into is if you know you're going on a month-long vacation, or let's say your services are being cut for a month, or whatever the case is, but you're going to have a break in services, your job beforehand, so a couple weeks at least beforehand, is to start thinking about, okay, what are all the skills that my child learned in the last month or two, let's say, and how can I arrange my child's everyday life so that those skills have an opportunity to be practiced.
Awesome.
Okay, and as long as you do that, and do it a lot, that's all you need to do.
That's just to maintain.
To maintain, right.
Okay.
To maintain the gains that you made.
Right, and I think it's important to maintain, but I'm also making the case for, since, we've got this time in the summer, why not push for more progress?
Well, you can definitely give it a shot. And, to be fair, some families don't have the time and the resources or the training to really be able to push their child's intervention program forward, at least in comparison to having professionally delivered therapy. But it's absolutely worth a shot.
Absolutely.
So what you want to do there is ask your child's ABA supervisor what the plan is. Say, okay, what has my child been learning over the last couple months? What should he continue to be learning over the next month or two? And you need to have a plan. It needs to all be written out. You need to know the exact examples of every single skill, so exact items or targets. So if it's colors that you're practicing, you need to know exactly which colors your child learned in the last couple months and which new colors you should be practicing, and et cetera. If it's letters, uppercase, lowercase, whatever. But then the important thing, here's the one guaranteed way to help with generalization into everyday life is don't do the same thing over and over.
Right.
Don't do the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
So what that means is if you are working on colors, let's say you have a green lamp in your house, right? And your kid just learned green. Well, every time you pass by that lamp, that's an opportunity to say, hey, what color is that? Or, hey, show me something green, or where's the green lamp, right? But if you only do that with that particular lamp, then as far as your kid knows, you could be practicing lamp, not green, right? Or you could be practicing living room, not green, right? So you need to make sure there are lots and lots of different opportunities to practice the same skill over and over. So you might have to identify 100 or 200 or 300 different stimuli in your life, in your everyday life, that are opportunities for practicing stuff.
Okay, so let me see if I got this straight though. We want to be having lots of opportunities, not just not doing it the exact same way over and over and over again, but we do want consequences to be the same over and over and over again.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Okay.
So you want lots of immediate feedback, right? So if your kid makes a correct response, you want immediate feedback. All right, you're so smart. Whatever kind of reinforcement works for him or her. If she has a tough time and makes an error or doesn't respond, then throw in some kind of prompting as a correction procedure. Whatever, ask your ABA supervisor what you would normally do. But yeah, clear consequences. Lots of practice, of the skill, but not practice of the same example of the skill over and over and over.
Right. I always talk about with generalization that my mom unwittingly understood generalization when she taught me how to drive a car, because she had me learn it on her car, but she was constantly changing things up, and then I had to do it on my dad's car, and I had to do it on the neighbor's car and somebody else's car.
Perfect example.
And she would never do it, like we started out in a parking lot, but then we would go to a different parking lot, so that the lampposts were in different places and that I would have to learn. And then we started out on a deserted road in the back, but we never did the same roads because she was trying to teach me how to drive on any road.
She totally got generalization training.
Yeah, my brilliant mother who had no idea.
That's great. That's fantastic.
So, yes, so now I can drive. I can pretty much get into any car, drive on any road, knock on wood, fairly safely.
And here's another tip for parents. If you're on vacation or even just getting a break from services, whatever it is, you've been stressed out, you've been working hard. Probably what you want to do the most is rest and give your kid a rest and just relax. And no one can blame you for feeling that. That's the only reasonable perspective to have as a human being. But in addition to that, if you do want to maintain the skills, you got to put more time and effort into it than you would like to. So figure out how much you really feel like doing it, and then maybe double it.
Yeah.
And that's how much you should do it.
Yeah.
And again, it's not right or wrong. That just is the best way to maintain skills and to help them generalize.
But almost everything is an opportunity.
Everything's an opportunity. Here's another great tip. Anytime your kid wants something, that's an opportunity. Anytime your kid wants something, it's an opportunity, because what that tells you, when your kid wants something, and when your kid wants something, right? Whether he's reaching, crying, pointing, whatever, gesturing, or maybe asking for it, but with just one word, that's an opportunity to practice expansion of that skill just a little bit.
Okay.
So if your kid is reaching for the teddy bear that's on a shelf that he can't reach, and your kid can say, "buh," for bear, right? So that's the first approximation. That's great. But now prompt your kid to say bear or bear, okay? And then once that happens once, reinforce it. And then from then on, you need to expect the better response. And what you did was you just taught your child a little piece of language.
Right.
And if you arrange the environment so that there's lots of opportunities for your child to want something that they can't get on their own, then you've just arranged a whole bunch of teaching opportunities.
Yeah.
So this is how you set up the environment for what's called incidental teaching or pivotal response training. You basically bait the environment with lots and lots of stuff your kid wants, okay, but that he can't get on his own. So it could be a toy where the batteries are missing. It could be an item that's out of reach on the shelf. Could be a set of toys with one piece missing, right? Or the piece is needed. Could be if he's making a sandwich. It could be that you put out all the ingredients but leave out his favorite ingredient that he's going to want, he's going to ask for it. That's an opportunity to practice that word. Or if he already speaks really, really well and you don't need to expand language, you could practice, saying please or being more polite with it or using a full sentence or giving eye contact while they say it. So unfortunately, good is never good enough. There's always an opportunity to practice.
Pushing the envelope.
Push the envelope.
A little bit at a time.
Yep.
Really incredible. Well, fabulous. We've got a lot of things to work on over the summer now. And I think, as much as we always talk about the fact that, the best possible case scenario is that you have a really quality ABA provider in your home, that you've got a fully funded program. Next best is that you've got somebody who's supervising, and whether they come to you for a period of time, is able to work with you to design your program. But if you don't have access to those things, I personally want to recommend that you do skills. That's what we're doing over the summer, because we're done with our intensive ABA, and it's really, if you take the time to do CARDI learning, a parent can be very effective, and you get access to that curriculum and all lined out the different teaching points.
Right. It just gives you access to a lot of information that you don't need to then go figure out on your own.
Right.
So if there's a skill that you can think of that you want to teach your child, it's probably in there.
Yeah.
There's, almost 4,000 different things you can teach in the curriculum. So if you want to teach it, it's probably there.
Yeah. And they have an amazing opportunity for you right now, that if you buy 1 month, you get the rest of the summer for free. So a pretty amazing deal for you. Nice. But there are ways that we can be effective as parents, and I think that that's important to note. But I thank you so much for coming in here and talking about these different topics with us, and
it's always fun.
Straightening us out and keeping us on the straight and narrow.